Commissioners. I'd like to go ahead and call the Parks and Recreation Advisory Commission meeting today to order. Before we begin, I'd like to say that the items listed on the agenda may be taken out of the order presented. 2 or more agenda items for consideration may be combined, and any item on the agenda may be removed or related discussion may be delayed at any time. Backup material for this agenda may be obtained from Luann D. Holmes, City Clerk, at the Office of the City Clerk, 495 South Main Street, 2nd floor, or on the city's webpage at www.lasvegasnevada.gov. And what I'd like to do now, this is Chair Becker, I would like to call to order and have a roll call.
Chair Becker.
Here.
Vice Chair Niger.
Yep.
Commissioner Sherman.
Here via teleconference.
Commissioner Armenian.
Here.
Commissioner Gabray. Excuse. Commissioner Howard.
Here.
Commissioner Keller.
Present.
Commissioner Martin.
Here.
Commissioner Zamora.
Here via telephone.
Commissioner Burgos.
Here.
Commissioner Cornwell. Excuse. Commissioner Robinson.
Present.
Commissioner Stitt.
Here.
Commissioner Vokitz.
Present.
Thank you, Chair. You have a quorum.
Great. Moving to item agenda number 2, announcement regarding the compliance and open meeting law. Are we in compliance?
Yes, we are, Chair.
Great, thank you. Agenda item number 3 is public comment. Comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to the matters on the agenda for action. If you wish to be heard, come forward and give your name for the record. The amount of time and discussion, as well as the amount of time and any single speaker is allowed to speak, may be limited. I don't see anybody here, but one thing I would like to do before we begin today, I'm hoping that we could all observe 30 seconds of silence for the victims of the October 1st attack. God bless them and their families. Great. Thank you so much. I would also like to recognize someone today. I just wanted to recognize Vice Chair Niger for stepping up to run the last month's meeting while I was taking my daughter to school and traveling on a book tour. I'm happy to report I'm no longer going to be coaching high school softball, so those kind of conflicts are not going to occur going forward. Of course, I have also tossed my name out there for a few acting gigs, if you can believe it, and I even got a small part. So you never know, but I'm going to try to be here every time. So, yeah, right? That's what happens. Moving on to agenda item number 4 for possible action to approve the final minutes by reference of the regular meeting of September 3rd, 2024. If everybody's read the minutes, could I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Great.
Second.
Great. I have a motion to approve and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Great, the motion carries. Agenda item number 5 is a report by the Department of Public Safety regarding the issues at city facilities and parks, all wards. I don't see a representative of the department today, so I would go ahead and move on from agenda item number 5. And we'll have an update next month? Is that correct? Yes. Agenda item number 6 is a
Oh, there it goes. Chairman Hine, Jim Lewis, City Attorney's Office. Yeah, we're going to need to strike that item. So I just take a motion, motion to strike.
We do need a motion to strike. Could I have a
We
motion?
do, yeah. We need to have some sort of action related to that item.
Right. Council, thank you so much. Could I go ahead and have a motion to strike, please?
So moved. I second.
Great. Thank you, and always please remember, try to, I know it's hard for us sometimes, but let's try to remember to always include our name and the ward we represent prior to speaking for the audio that we're collecting today. Moving on to agenda item we have to vote? The motion has been made and seconded. May I have a vote, please?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion carries. Thank you. Agenda item number 6 is a report by Steve Glimp, Parks and Grounds Maintenance Manager regarding all parks maintenance and updates, all wards. I knew we would get to you sooner or later, Mr. Glimp.
There we go. Hi, Steve Glimp, Manager of Parks and Grounds Maintenance. Just got a quick update for you on some projects. Just generally, we just got done overseeding all of our playing fields, and we're moving on to overseeding all of our dog park areas. And tree planting season, of course, has begun again. We're looking to get another 1,200 trees or so in the ground before the end of May. So we'll be putting a lot of effort into that. In Ward 1, at Dock Romeo, we installed some new slats on dugouts on Field 3. In progress, we have Rainbow Family Park new scoreboards and Rainbow Family Park pedestrian bridge rehab for a future project. In Ward 2, just resurfaced the tennis courts at Bruce Trent. In progress, we have All-American Field 3 stairs and handrails in conjunction with a turf removal landscape upgrade. And we're also working currently at Bruce Trent doing some enhancements to the farmers market area adjacent to the parking lot. Ward 3 replaced playground shades at J.C. Levitt. Stewart Place Playground is in progress, and East Las Vegas Family Park fence repairs are a future project. Ward 4, new dugout shades at Majestic. Durango pickleball court fence raised for shade is in progress. And then Sky Ridge Playground is a future thing we're looking at. Ward 5, we just went through the playground at Ed Fountain and retroed replaced some of the pieces because it was still in really good shape, so we just replaced a couple slides, replaced the shade, and put in new soft surface. Lorenzo, in progress, we have Lorenzi parking lot, and future project is we're still looking at doing the shack court resurfacing. Ward 6, we just did some shade replacement at Gilcrease Brothers Park. In progress at Centennial Hills parking lot, and then future project will be Grand Teton split rail fence repairs. Any questions?
No, I think Manager Glimp, I think that was an excellent report, and you did a great job. Thank you.
Cool, thank you.
Agenda item number 7 is a report by Aaron Radke, Recreation Manager, regarding the Recreation and Center updates, all wards.
Hi, good afternoon. Erin Radke, Recreation Manager. Wanted to give you some updates on our summer camp. We have finished summer, obviously, and we're already starting to plan for next year, if you can imagine that. A couple of the awesome things that have happened this year is we partnered with the Mayor's Fund with Odyssey, which is radio station and also Finley car distributions throughout the city, and they did a swimsuit drive. Along with the swimsuits, we were able to collect 757 items that they donated, 149 swimsuits, 466 beach towels, 36 swim diaper packages, and 106 goggles. So this was the first time adventure. I spoke about it a few months ago that we were trying to look at where can we get swimsuits for a lot of our, mostly the outdoor pools and also Muni Pool, where in those areas we saw kids and families coming to swim in inappropriate swim attire, and we have to have appropriate swim attire in order to keep our health district guidelines. So this was a fundamental project that was a thought a while back, and Savante, who's our recreation supervisor, was able to work with the Mayor's Fund and the grouping, and with communications, we were able to get this to happen. We were so excited. The items did come in a couple weeks before summer ended this year, but the day that they actually came in, we already had turned away a family because they didn't have swim attire. So the impact was immediate. The sites, between the 6 pools, we were able to sort out some of the swimsuits, and then they want to, again, hold another donation fundraiser this next year. We'd like it to start, they're looking around January, February, so we'll have the swimsuits by early May next year, which will then help the whole summer along. And then the towels were great because we had a whole bunch of brand new towels, so we're able to use those for incentives with our Learn to Swim programs, and also for some of our discount programs that will be coming up as well. So great, it's been a great partnership. We're looking forward to working with them for that and a couple other items that we have coming up with our other facilities for our youth. Our summer camp, we have a program that we roll into. It's called Camp Kindness, and every year we incorporate different values with the kids. Each week the kids strive to learn more about, the first week was respect. So they do things that we're teaching respect, they're learning respect, and then they earn little, they're like little wristbands, and then they have these little like kindness chains that they fill out. And they might be something like, Miss Tanya was such a sweet teacher this year, I learned something from them. Or little Johnny became my friend, and he was very nice because he made sure I had enough water. Things like that are practical knowledge, but also teaching them from ages 5 on up what it means to be respectful, to learn how to be leaders, and also to incorporate compassion and self-care. There is a theme every week, and it's color coordinated. So the kids learn throughout summer, and by the end of summer, they have these long ideas of everything that they've learned and incorporated into their daily life. And that pulls through the school year, and then next year they're coming back with that. So we're going to continue that philosophy, which we've done for the past 3-4 years, and we're starting to ramp up now for the new ones for this next summer. Also in kindness, we have the Kindness Awareness Day is in November, and just up outside the door here, we'll have a couple little tables with our time machines. Our theme was Rocking Through the Ages this year, so you'll see different parts of each of the camps, and they'll highlight what the kids have done. And there's about a 3-minute reel, we might add some more, but like a 3-minute reel that you can kind of watch the different camps, and a lot of fun things that they've been doing this year. Wanted to highlight our All STEAM Day. This is a day that we all get together. This year we moved it to East Las Vegas. Traditionally, the last few years, we've been at Doolittle Community School. So at STEAM, this is all 700 to 800 campers and all our staff at one site at one time for anywhere from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. The buses kind of come and pick them up at that point. But all the kids get to go through. We did elephant toothpaste. The teens, on the top picture, you're seeing them actually decorating their hoverboards. So that incorporates the science, the arts, and all of those components as well. The bottom, they did some dancing that went with some of the TikTok challenges that they have throughout the country now. And overall, the hoverboards that they made, they actually we'll show a couple little things in the future with the next camp that came on after. But overall, incorporating the science, technology, engineering, and math within our camps on a daily basis, this also helped align that with the future of their kids. Moving into our all camp day, so each of our camps have a different theme, and the Rocking Through the Ages each picked a different theme. So I'm not sure if many of you guys remember, like Prince of Bel-Air, like Fresh Prince. There was one of the sites had that theme that was Doolittle. We had the disco. We've had all kinds of themes. So I just kind of threw up a couple of the pictures from each of them as they were coming in. So behind them, this one is held at Veterans Memorial. And this was all the campers as well. This is the end of July. So it's kind of kicking off the tail end of summer for the last couple of weeks before they end their summer. So those are those 4, and then we're going into Mirabelli, Stupak, and Veterans. And Veterans is one of the last crews to come in, so you see the gym is completely flooded with kiddos. And Councilwoman came out and also spoke to them, so kind of another way that they entice and integrate the kids into the programming. Councilwoman Diaz spoke at the one at All STEAM as well. That's all right. Our judges at our All Camp Challenge were the marshals. There was 4 of them. They had the hard choices. So at this challenge, the kids do kids do the contest with the banners that you saw, but they also do other contests throughout the summer, and then this is where they can win the trophies. And then we also do a lip sync contest at the very end, which is actually the counselors all getting up and performing, and the kids are cheering them on. We started incorporating that in a few years ago. The kids love it because they're rooting them on, and then the counselors they dig it. They're teaching the kids the dances along with it during camp. So it's a good way to incorporate everybody. So we appreciate everyone jumping in and helping us out. This was all Camp Challenge. As you can see, we did some floor hockey, so we had the Vegas Golden Knights out. We did a glow room, it's kind of cool. It's over at like 3 of the classrooms and everything. You walk in and there's, as you can see, you're just seeing a little bit of it, but it would be amazing. So hopefully next year, maybe you guys can come out and check it out. But the rooms are totally dark, and the kids get to go through and do different, there's cup stacking, there is laser tag, glow-in-the-dark laser tag, that was their favorite, and they do all different activities in there. And then in the lower, we called this was hot lava. So the kids are in the gymnastics room, and they had things going like, it's lava, lava, you got to jump over this and jump over that. So something different from this year. And then we also had the foam event outside, which basically all of the kids go through each of these stations, and they have a popsicle station, and then they also go to the pool. So they all interact with all of our different divisions. Parks is very helpful for us as well. They come out and kind of clean up our trash and things like that. So the cultural, we do different things with them as well throughout the summer. This slide is actually the lip sync contest. So this is just kind of some of the hysterical things that the kids, or the staff did. We've had everyone dressing up from, obviously you can see Cimarron Rose was all with the heavy hair bands and AC/DC kind of things. And then we had traditional other 90s music, 80s music, disco. They dressed up with the disco errors and things like that. So a lot of fun. And then these last groups are our last 3. So they get involved with it. So it's a way to incorporate our kids to get them excited about camp, but also our counselors. And in exchange for all that, we have an overall aquatic section that goes in there, which you can see they pull out the big, this is the water, they climb on it. We can only put 1 or 2 kids on there at a time. And that is also used for, the inflatables are used for birthday parties and stuff. So it's a way to entice kids to say, hey, I want to have my birthday party here. Or for adults, we can do some team building parties. And then they also do, the teens do a boat race, which they built these boats that you see on the left. They're actually made out of cardboard. And we raced 5 across the pool. There's 1 for each of the teen camps. And 2 of them made them all the way across. 1 did a double lap, and a couple of them sunk. So they're learning the science behind it afterwards and what they can do better. They're extremely competitive, and they try to be sneaky and put stuff in their boats, or if they earn points along the way, they get some special things. Like some of them got the, it's like a roof, it's a spray you put on the roof so it doesn't leak. So if they get enough points, they get that. So there's incentives built out throughout the year that they get to, or throughout the summer that they get to use too. Now moving on, we pick an overall summer camp of the year, and I have to give my shout out to Cimarron Rose. They were the winner this year. They've been the winner the last couple of years too. So we're hoping maybe next year we get another camp, but it seems like they really put the competitive notes in there for all of camp. With all of this, I wanted to kind of give you some stats this year compared from 2023 summer to 2024 this year. We had 12 weeks of camp this year, so I just want to compare the 11 weeks to 11 weeks. Last year, a total of 8,555 participants came through the program. This year, it was 9,367. Week 12, we had an additional 711 that came that week, so a grand total of 10,078 kids had some kind of experience with camp at one of our centers, and our daily average was 775 in 2023, and this year 861. With our aquatics, Learn to Swim, our junior lifeguard camps, and certification and registration comparisons, 2023 to 2024, we had 2,260 for 2023 and 2,739 for this year. And then the classes, we had 507 in 2023 and then 571 this year. Overall, for the aquatics programs, we had 355 that were at 100% capacity in 2023. This year, 438. So quite a huge jump in making sure that campers are happy, staff are productive and happy in what they're doing. It really plays a part in what we provide every day. And then also our staff that is within our centers, making sure that the classes are filled. They're reaching out to community partners to see, who else needs swim lessons, as well as other options for camps and things like that. So overall, that was our summer camp. Do you have any questions or anything else?
Councilman Stitt, Ward 4. I just want to congratulate you on increasing the numbers of your camp and the participants and enrollments. I know you had trouble getting lifeguards at the beginning of the summer, and that's great that you were able to accomplish what you did. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Other commissioners? No? Once again, I think you did an amazing job, and I commend you too. I mean, every year it's going up, and you're getting more and more attendees, and I see the program expanding. Some of the stuff just made me laugh and smile. I mean, that's the point, right? Is
Right.
to have everybody have fun and help raise the quality of life here in Las Vegas. So thank you for that report.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to agenda item number 8, we have a report from Marco Vallada, Planning Project Manager, regarding the City of Las Vegas 2050 Master Plan, all awards. And just before we hear that, I just did want to mention that Commissioner Vokas actually had brought this up as a question point, and possibly to see if we could get it on the agenda, because he thought it was important for all the commissioners to see what's going on with the plan. So I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Certainly. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Marco Vallada, City of Las Vegas Department of Community Development, for the record. Today, I'm going to go over the 2050 plan and how it relates to the Parks and Recreation element specifically. For those of you who have participated in the 2050 plan or any of the master planning process that we've had up to this point, thank you. We appreciate your feedback, and we certainly value it in terms of our overall implementation and our strategy. For those of you who don't know, as I go through this quickly, hopefully it'll make more sense as we go along, and at least describe how we plan for the future in terms of anything, whether it's parks or the city in general. So the master plan was adopted in 2021, and it broadly describes the city's overall vision and what we want to see in the future. And it captures a lot of different outcomes, and anything from land use and zoning related matters all the way up to parks, transportation, housing, you name it. The Imagine LV Parks System Plan was a sub-plan that was adopted by Planning Commission and City Council in 2023, and it's a supplement to the Parks and Open Space element that's required under NRS 278. Those are our planning statutes that we are required to have. So that one delved in deeper into the Parks and Recreation system, and we had a number of consultants that assisted us with this, including Smith Group, who also did the 2050 plan for us throughout the pandemic leading up to it as well, and then post-pandemic as we went through the official adoption process. So the idea behind this is that it provides us more ideas as to where we can get additional revenue, what types of services we offer, as well as an assessment of the overall parks and recreation system, everything from individual parks themselves to community centers and the things that go on there. And amongst a number of directors and deputy directors that have been on here along the way, we've been able to get feedback from the entire department and provide a little bit of a guidance as to how the future works. But the overarching idea is that there are these guiding principles that the 2050 plan has at a very high level, and we want to ensure that our park system meets those, that we have equity, resilience, health, livability, and innovation that's built into the overall parks system. And that's already spelled out in the 2050 plan, so we wanted to make sure that this sub-plan, this Imagine LV Parks plan, meets that. In terms of the demographics and trends, and it's been a few years since we did some of the public outreach that was related to this. We had a general survey that went out, as well as a number of different public outreach opportunities to get people's ideas as to what they thought, and a little bit of an idea of what the community makeup was. we found that most people who are, who are doing recreational activities within the city of Las Vegas, we're really focused in on general sports and fitness, a lot of the activities that go on at our community centers, but there was also general interest on outdoor recreation and activities that are occurring not necessarily within the city borders itself, but in, like Red Rock Canyon and within Clark County as a whole. We also found that participation in sports like basketball, golf, and tennis are high, and that there's a lot of growth in things like pickleball, golf entertainment like Atomic Golf or Top Golf, and then tennis. Those are things that people were really gave us a lot of feedback on. And as you can see in terms of the national participatory trends, and this hasn't changed that much over the last couple of years, even though this dates back to 2021 and then looking back into the late 2010s, there's been a lot of change in terms of overall participation in things like tennis and golf, but not so much on things like ultimate frisbee or wrestling or even roller hockey. And in terms of things like general fitness, there's a lot of participation in yoga, Zumba, trail running, those types of activities, and maybe a little bit of a decline in things like kickboxing and group stationary cycling and spinning and things like that. So the overall public input findings that we got, we had a pretty good turnout of people that responded to us. Most of them participated in city programs and events, and they rated the quality of our parks and recreational facilities as excellent or very good, and a high number of them said that the overall physical condition of our community centers and our parks were pretty good. In terms of the top priorities, better trails and connectivity, better recreational offerings, better public safety at our parks, and more accessibility and inclusion at those facilities. We got a number of general comments that came along with that, and we can certainly provide you the link so you can all take a look at them when you have a chance to. So again, they're very high priority items were more walking trails, more shade, more trees, and more opportunities to get outdoors. And in terms of the recreational programs, there was certainly an emphasis that we saw in the public outreach on adult fitness and exercise classes, having that that value at those community facilities as opposed to going to private gyms and things like that. Senior programs and community special events also rated very high. We took a look at the entire Parks and Rec system, and we took a look at how, are we offering things that the county, the city of Henderson and North Las Vegas are offering? Where do things match up overall? Do we have deficiencies or surpluses of certain types of facilities or amenities? And do we have enough parks in terms of park acreage? And the short answer is we don't have enough of some things and we have an overabundance of others. We could certainly get more tennis courts because we have an overall deficiency in that area, and there's definitely a trend towards wanting more court type activities like pickleball and tennis. But at the same time, do we have enough swimming pools? Well, if we build facilities like the regional pickleball facility and we build the regional aquatic complex, that might solve some of those issues that we have long term. If you look at the distribution of where our community centers are, you can see some gaps, especially in the northwestern part of the valley. Certainly there are master plan communities out there that provide their own private community centers, but they're not necessarily publicly accessible. They're certainly not within a 2-mile drive, which is considered a short drive to one of those. Similarly, we might not have community centers in the older parts of town, like in East Las Vegas or along the Charleston corridor. We certainly have some gaps there in terms of where community centers are at. We actually don't have a big public facility in the Charleston area aside from Mirabelli Community Center, and that's at 95 and Jones, which if you live over by Clark High School on the south end, that's considerable distance. You might be closer to a county facility or maybe even Stupak Community Center, and it might be on the other side of I-15, it's not as accessible. Similarly with parks, you know, we have about 2 parks per 10,000 people, 2 acres of parks per 10,000 people throughout the city that are walkable within a quarter of a mile of houses. So roughly 60% of all houses or dwelling units within the city of Las Vegas are within a quarter to half mile of of a park or a city facility, or a private park or an HOA park. So is there access to green space? Well, that's good, but we could certainly be doing a lot better. For a medium-sized city like ours, a medium-sized metro like Las Vegas, the target that we've found is 7 acres of parks that are within that close quarter to half mile access of houses is what we need to be shooting for. So we have a significant gap, even with the parks and facilities that we have now. As far as the operational assessment goes, I mean, short-term and long-term, we want to continue to make sure that we have the marketing of our parks and recreational facilities going. That was one of the recommendations that came out of it, and we saw that there was a need for more customer service and growing the interest in what the city has to offer. Certainly addressing space and storage needs as well as capacities and levels of service. Going back to, do we have community centers in the right places? Do we have parks in the right places? Do we have enough of them? And ultimately, that level of service that I mentioned, you know, we have 1,800 acres of parks that are provided either by the city or by HOAs or master plan communities. So we're under where we should be for a city of our size. And in terms of that park proximity, we're starting to see an increase in that since the master plan was adopted, but we're still trying to get even higher so that almost everybody has close access to a park. In terms of the recreational offerings that we have, again, developing new programs that were identified through public outreach and offering additional programs that the city already offers, having more frequency and filling those gaps that we have currently. And then over the long term, evaluating our core program areas, the things that the city offers at its recreation centers, making sure that we're following what those demographic shifts are telling us, and then we monitor what the pricing is with comparison to the other municipalities around us, so we're not losing out to the county or to North Las Vegas in particular. You got an update earlier about some of the things that were recommended or things that are actually happening in terms of facility upgrades. Over the past year, we've seen the Arroyo Vista Park open up in East Las Vegas, again, filling a gap on that part of town. We have Civic Plaza going in across the street, and that will provide some green space in downtown Las Vegas, where we certainly have some gaps, especially in this area immediately around City Hall. And then we have a number of park rehabs and new parks that are under development. And we're working with Steve Glimp and Brad Dassler on an urban forestry management plan to, again, provide more trees and shade to those places. Again, one of those recommendations that we heard. Some of the other recommendations that come out of this plan are to make these community centers as neighborhood anchors. You know, these should be, because they are City of Las Vegas facilities, they should be facing the public and really showing what the city has to offer. So these are really opportunities to bring what the city offers in terms of its public-facing services to the forefront. Making more connections. You know, we have a lot of streets that are really, really fast, really dangerous. It's not necessarily conducive to bicyclists and pedestrians, but we have been making some major changes in terms of our capital improvement program and really focusing in on safety to try to get connections to places where parks are, within neighborhoods in particular. An example of that is Stewart Avenue. We do have a federal grant right now that is working to convert that stretch of Stewart between downtown Las Vegas and Nellis Boulevard to a cycle track. And along the way, you hit parks right around Eastern Avenue, middle school, elementary schools that are along that corridor. And with a protected bike facility that has street trees and slower moving traffic, that's an example of what we're trying to do throughout the city is get places in various parts of the valley connected better and safer. And then come up with some new innovative parks and facilities. And as I'm sure you probably know, SNPLMA is the primary vehicle of funding new public parks and trails throughout southern Nevada. SNPLMA has a little bit of a life to it because of the amount of land sales that can be completed over the next 5 to 10 years. So the pot of money that's available through SNPLMA is shrinking. So one of the other things that we're thinking about is providing other types of venues that might fit the gap, requiring open space as part of development projects. So if we have mixed-use developments like what's going on over at Symphony Park, there is a certain amount of open space that is required at those types of developments. And then for new developments that go on in the northwestern part of the valley, having things like development agreements in which we have a certain amount of open space required and work with the developers to get turnkey parks. That we've seen some of that at Sky Canyon, and we're working on a special area plan right now at La Madre Foothills, which is about Tropical Parkway, west of Chamba Road. So if you can imagine where Centennial High School is, where the 215 goes from east-west to north-south. West of that, up against the foothills, we have a development agreement that's going into place with Olympia Communities to develop a park that will interface with the Red Rock National Conservation Area and will serve as a trailhead for not only that particular community, but also Sky Canyon, and link down to Summerlin West and complete a portion, at least the northwestern portion of the Vegas Valley Rim Trail. And this is one of the concepts that would be going into that agreement coming up here as soon as that agreement is finalized. So with that, if there's any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them, and hopefully that explains a little bit more about our Parks and Recreation component of our master plan.
Great, Manager Vallada. I really appreciate your presentation. I love that you gave us a handout to especially study some of those numbers and get a little bit deeper in that. Just out of curiosity, just as a show of hands, I'm kind of curious, does everybody on the commission know about the rim trail that actually goes around the entire city? Is that something everybody knows, or no? Could you expound on that just a half second?
Certainly. Marco Vallada for the record. So the Vegas Valley Rim Trail kind of has been under development over the last 25 years or so. Different portions of it have been constructed. I think the River Mountain Loop Trail was like the initial start, and then certain segments in the city of Henderson, the McCullough Hills Trail, and then the Las Vegas Wash Trail. Those were all built using SNPLMA funds, and they go through the Sloan Canyon National Conservation Area. The idea is that all the way around the city, there'd be some type of multi-use trail of some kind, whether that's for pedestrians, hikers, or bikers. It's still a little bit ambiguous, but the county is working on their portion in the southwest, and they have funding through an assembly bill that was passed several legislative sessions ago to construct and plan for that segment between I-15 and about St. Rose Parkway or Sloan, all the way up to Charleston and Desert Foothills, or Sky Vista, rather. It's not the Beltway Trail, but it's a trail that goes around the outside and the periphery.
That's great, thank you. And one of the things that always struck me about the trail system was the fact that this is multi-jurisdictional. It's not just, it's the city of Las Vegas, North Las Vegas, Henderson, and Clark County all working together to complete this trail system that's interlinked so that we have that kind of asset here in the valley. So I thought that's cool. I see we have a commissioner with some questions. Go ahead.
Commissioner Burgos, Ward 6. I have a question. It says your top priorities for input was accessibility and inclusion. Is there any kind of list or inventory of accessible, adaptable equipment, park equipment that the city has, and at what parks that equipment is?
Mark Avalada, for the record, through the chair to you. My guess is that we probably do have something in our inventory as to what those are and if we have any gaps. So,
Yeah, Pat O'Mara, Deputy Director. We do have that list as we are replacing structures. We are adding to that. We don't yet have it posted on, on the webpage or anything like that, but that is underway.
Is there a list
So
that
we're working on that now.
it's accessible to the commissioners at all? Only because, just to have an idea of what that equipment is? Because I know we've been told the last 2-3 years about the equipment, so I was just curious of,
Yeah, good question. I don't know at what level it is as far as presentation, but we'll work on getting it at least accessible to all of you before we get it up online and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
thank you.
Great. I don't see any other commissioners with questions today, but I really appreciate the presentation. It really helped us give, I think, that big picture view that we've been looking for. So thank you very much.
yep, thank you.
Great. Hey, Commissioners, I'd like to note that representatives of the Department of Public Safety have made it here today, and if you would like, if somebody would like to, and I'm going to help you out here, if somebody would like to make a motion to rehear agenda item number 5, if somebody would like to make that motion and I have a second, then we could actually have the officers come down and give their report.
Russ Martin, Ward 2, I make a motion that we address item 5.
Rehear. Yeah. Do I have a second?
I'll second. Rudy Zamora, Ward 3, I can second.
Great, thank you. Officers, come.
We need to
All in
vote.
favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed?
Aye.
Are we thumbing through this? Yeah. Turkey, did you keep one for us?
Good afternoon. Sarkis Chapoyan, City of Las Vegas, Deputy Marshal. First, I want to apologize. We're running a little late, so I apologize and thank you for taking us on and being able to kind of present what we have going on here. LT, do you want to start off? Or?
You gonna get them?
I think we're going with the thing.
Okay.
And that's the clicker.
Okay. All right, yes, concur with the sergeant, thank you very much. Yes, we do have a lot going on today, so it's always a bad excuse, though. Everybody's got stuff going on, so my sincerest apologies. Okay, so we'll start here. Not a whole lot has happened. We've definitely, you'll evidence here within the wards, you'll see.
First, last name.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Yes, yeah, I should know that, second time here. First name's Timothy, Timothy, last name Mullins, Mullins, and I'm the lieutenant overseeing the Fremont substation and swing shift operations for DPS. Okay, so as you all see here, if you're looking at our statistics, the various wards, there is a little bit of an increase, but that's going to be in large part outside of Ward 4 there, in large part due to our saturation activities. We have various op plans with our swing shift, and namely swing shift and with our night shift details. They're going out there as a full squads and enforcing the ordinances and laws. You'll see that Levitt continues to be an issue, but we're staying on top of it. We're not letting up at all at Levitt, or you can see there at Rafael Rivera and Gary Reese and some of the various other ones. Lorenzi's also an issue. Most of these are going to be park violations and warrants, lodging without consent and trespassing. We do have well, I'll let Sergeant go ahead and speak to these. This is his
Yeah.
slide.
Once again, Sarkeesian Point for the record. Trailer cameras, right? We have 3 trailer cameras that are up right now. A camera that's at Doolittle Park. We've seen an increase in take of Autobergs in that area. We do have to take into consideration that school was ending in the month. School was starting in September, so a lot of the juveniles come out and do their last shenanigans, I like to call it, right before they go back to school. So we have a camera up there. We also have a second camera at the Darling Tennis Center. If you guys are familiar with that area, it's right next to All-American Park, and we do experience some Autobergs in that area as well, because it's kind of separated from the park itself. It's kind of its own entity over there. And thirdly, we have a camera that's located in the Arts District, predominantly off of Wyoming and Main Street, due to the high increase of copper theft in that area. As the Lieutenant said, we are doing some operations with LVMPD to curb some of those issues. The cameras have been helpful, and the businesses have noticed that as well. Going past that. And a couple of community-oriented policing events going on September 21st, Centennial Hills Park, Ward 6, and then also at Lorenzi, Ward 5, we have National Owl. We will have some more community events coming up here in October, because we got Halloween coming up. Trunk or Treat will be a pretty busy time for us to be out there engaging with the community, with the kids, and showing our value out there, right, which is important. We'll kind of go into some of the significant arrests that we've had in the park this last month. I'll have LT talk about the first one, and I'll continue on with the other 2 as well.
Okay, Ward 5, Becker Tech, just due to our saturation efforts, we had officers that made contact earlier in the month of September with a male and a female that were sleeping in the park area, park grounds. They made contact with them. The female, obviously because they were sleeping there in the park area, made contact with them. Female turned out to have, she was on probation, and so she had a couple of warrants that were for battery domestic violence related, so there were no bail warrants. She was subsequently arrested and then revoked from her probation. Her male counterpart, sorry, I left out the more important thing. She did have a rifle it was a BB gun, determined to be a BB gun, and she also did have a 6-inch knife on her, so she was subsequently arrested for both of those weapon-related charges. The male half he had methamphetamine on him, and he had a pipe on him, so they were both transported to the Clark County Detention Center thereafter.
Continuing with that, Baker Park, Ward 3, officer stopped a vehicle, which is an unregistered vehicle. It was parked in the park with city ordinances. All vehicles have to be showing proper registration in all city property, so officers made contact with the individual. During that contact, the gentleman himself wasn't very cooperative. They did observe a sword next to him in the vehicle. I would say about maybe a 12-inch sword. Like katana sword, they eventually got his cooperation, got him out of the vehicle. Subject was a convicted felon out of California. Also, he had 3 BB guns in the car. One was kind of a rifle looking and 2 handgun related, along with other small miscellaneous knives as well, and some drug paraphernalia. The guy was actually living out of the car, and he did get arrested, went to county on some felony charges as well, and a vehicle was towed based on obviously without the registration. That was one incident. The second incident was at Justice Leavitt Park. Officers contacted 2 subjects sleeping inside the park during park closure hours. During that time, there was a bicycle that was just adjacent to them. On that bike, it was perfectly aligned with the frame of the bike, where there was a ghost gun that was located in there with 9mm bullets inside that weapon as well.
Ghost gun being?
Yeah, ghost gun being, there's no serial number attached to it, right? The upper half of the gun and the lower half, you kind of put it together, kind of like a Lego set, right? And there is no actual way of tracking those guns. So with that being said, they ended up arresting both subjects were arrested and taken to county, and the gun was impounded as well. And so some of the significant events that we had over the last month here.
So this is just a highlight of the hypervigilance that these officers are applying out there at all the parks, respective parks, and that's we are really emphasizing a zero tolerance policy with individuals like this, and there's no cooperation. They're certainly, our officers are receiving the training to be able to effectively apply themselves in very appropriate manners, being kind but still enforcing the law.
And think that would
Great,
kind of be ending it
Deputy
for us.
Marshals, yeah, we really appreciate your due diligence and your reports every month and every time, so thank you so much for coming that day. I see we have some commissioners that have some questions.
Sure.
Commissioner?
Ward 4, Commissioner Stitt. My granddaughter plays soccer at Buckskin Basin, I guess it's a wash, or is that part of your service to observe those parks, that park?
Absolutely, sir. It's a city-owned park. Yes, we do definitely do our patrols in that area.
So on Saturday morning the other day, the parking is atrocious, and people are parking in the dirt, and it was told, or I was told, that people were getting citations for parking in the dirt. So I don't know whether it's marked properly or how the people got into the dirt, whether it's blockaded or cared for, but I just wanted to call that to your attention.
Yep, so I'm glad you brought that up. Sarkis Chapoyan for the record as well. I was actually working that Saturday morning when we got a call in reference to that. Our officers went down there to do their regular patrol of the area. They observed a lot of vehicles that are parked illegally in that area, which is going to be a big traffic issue, which could cause accidents, could cause minor other things as well. So park enforcement was called out. There's definitely parking that says you are allowed to park here. There's some red zones as well, and where you can't park. Unfortunately, vehicles that are just parking wherever they want are going to get cited, and that's something that they're going to have to go and deal with parking enforcement towards the back end. But if the citizens feel that there isn't enough signage saying that where they can park, when they can't park, we'll go ahead and do a little tour of that area, see if there's maybe signs that we could eventually add to help some of those issues. But if there's illegal parking, we're going to address that illegal parking.
Okay, thank you. I also see that it's not listed on the list of parks. Is that a reason for that, or am I misreading?
No, that's a good point you brought up. So parking citations are done by parking enforcement, which is a completely different department, a different entity than us. And it's a civil infraction, it's not a criminal infraction.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Commissioner?
Commissioner Vokus, I do have a question on parking, so it may not be your jurisdiction, but what happens when people park their RVs overnight and they camp out in the parks overnight? What's the policy for that in general? How do you handle that? Or what advice would we give people, the proper advice?
Well, certainly they're not permitted to park there. It's not a designated camping zone, so we would ask that citizens do call in. If they call into the marshal, into our dispatch, then we will send out an officer to conduct their investigation. Ultimately, they're going to get moved. If they've committed a crime, or if the officer discovered that, then the RV is going to end up getting towed. Yes, but they're not permitted to be camping out.
Is there a length of time you can park in a park? Is there a limit to how long you can park in a park?
Yeah, that's a good question. So the park hours are pretty standard or straightforward, right? Between 7 a.m. and 11 p.m. the park is open. Anytime after that, the park is closed, whether the vehicle is in there, whether an individual is in there, we can't have anyone in the park after 11 p.m. all the way up to 7 a.m. So even if you're parking an RV over there, we will make contact. Technically, it's a criminal offense based on the city ordinance, the way it's written. So it gives us the opportunity to do an investigation on that and eventually give them a warning saying, hey, you can't be here based on their past history, or based on the past history, maybe cite them or whatever they have going on.
So the difference between the two in the dirt lot and that is the propensity for violence increases dramatically when we're dealing with an RV or a van, something of that nature, or even a vehicle that's blacked out. So we would prefer to go there versus a parking enforcement officer who is not going to be armed in should the worst end up occurring. We would hope that citizens would call us, and officers, when we do our area checks, we are definitely going to make contact with them, because we are not trying to solicit. This is a new KOS camp zone. So we don't want to have, before you know it, we'll end up having 10 RVs parked at various parks. So we're going to shut it down immediately.
Deputy Marshals, I might also add, unless I'm mistaken, you guys are also responsible for locking the bathrooms at those times when the parks are open and closed in many of the occasions, right? So even the bathrooms are closed in the park facilities, so it's not the best opportunity to use those parks. I also have another commissioner with a question.
Commissioner Burgos, Ward 6. It's actually just a comment. I want to say thank you being October 1st, I know we want to recognize and remember those we lost, but we also would like to recognize those who served and who ran into danger that day. I attended a service earlier today at noon, and it was SWAT and Metro, fire departments were there, and we were honoring those, all of our warriors. So thank you so much for being there for us, our community, and always running into danger when to protect us. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner.
Great, thank you so much for the report today. Appreciate you guys once again.
Thank you for having us.
Have a good day.
Good day, be safe.
Okay, I do want to just point out to the commissioners as we move on to agenda item number 9 that we are going to be running long today, and generally we're going to try to keep things within that hour period, but today we definitely are going to go long. I don't want to get in the habit of cutting things off the agenda simply because we're going to go long, so today we're going to go ahead and do that. So with that in mind, I know I have a lot of things to say later, but we all want to just keep it a little tight for the rest of the remainder so that we don't stay here till, 9 o'clock or something, which we're not going to do, I'm joking. Agenda item number 9 is a report by Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs staff regarding an overview of current tennis facility operations in the city of Las Vegas. All words.
Good afternoon, Pat O'Mara, Deputy Director, Parks, Recreation, Cultural Affairs. Talk to you a little bit about, this part of our little education session, a little bit about our tennis operators. We have 3 sites that have operators running the lessons, the court allocations, all those types of things that we have within our inventory. All-American Tennis Center, Darling Tennis Center, and Lorenzi Tennis Center. And so I'll talk to you a little bit about each one. All-American Tennis Center is our newest operator. They've been in just about a month. And they really have not fully implemented their operations because we're still underway on a few renovations to their clubhouse on property. So like I mentioned, All In Tennis is the operator. They've been in since September 1st. They've, in that time, already gotten started with 46 and a half hours of private lessons. Generally, those are half-an-hour increments. Haven't yet hosted any tournaments, but they do host 34 classes weekly for public lessons, and then, or excuse me, I should say group lessons, and then they also have leagues that they operate out of there, and they've had 34 league matches so far. And I'm actually going to just touch on a couple of things, and then I'm going to bring up our operator from Darling to talk to you for about 3 to 5 minutes. But CJMS Tennis Management is our operator for Darling Tennis Center. They've been the operator there since September of 2010. So they, have certainly put in a lot of work, done a lot of great things because they keep getting extended in their operations. They do right around 200 private lessons. I believe that's a month, but that's that's multiple different instructors doing many dozens of private lessons each every month. They do between 25 and 30 tournaments a year, and those are generally large-scale tournaments. I'll let Jeff talk about that a little bit. And then they do over 50 different group classes every week, and they'll do leagues for adults and youth. They do 4 adult leagues every year and 2 juniors leagues every year. So I'll let Jeff come up and talk to you a little bit more about the specifics of Darling Tennis Center.
Hello, I'm Jeff Foley. I'm the director at the Darling Tennis Center. I'm going to talk a little bit about our programs. I'll start with tournaments. We do a series of tournaments ranging from junior, young age, lower level, beginner, entry-level players. We do a lot of regular adult recreational tournaments, do multiple of those a year. We also do a certain number of collegiate, and we just had a professional tournament, ATP Tour event out at Darling last year, which is nice to utilize our beautiful sunken stadium court we have that holds 2,500 people. So we like to do some events that utilize that. We have a big Mountain West Collegiate event going on this week, so we do a certain amount of college, professional tournaments, youth, so we do a lot of tournaments a year. Our league teams, we have about 150 league teams that play through Darling over the course of the year. There's 4 basic seasons. They have a fall season, a spring season, a summer season, and then a winter season. So each one of those different seasons, a league will end and then a new league will start. Each league team has about 14 people on a team. So we're dealing with a lot of local players that are coming out and utilizing the club and participating on our league teams where we play against other clubs around the city. So it's a great recreational outlet for people to get out and get involved. And we have senior leagues, we have junior leagues, we have adult leagues. So we have pretty much every level and every age for those. Private lessons, we have 12 to 15 pros that give lessons at Darling with the 23 courts. We have some pros that specialize a little more in the high performance level of junior players that are looking to play in college. Then we have some pros that are better with the younger kids, with the youth, the 10 and under age, and then we have some for adults. So we pretty much have pros that are, good in those different areas of each one of those areas. Let me see here. Classes, we have a great offering of what we call our drop-in clinics, which is where people don't have to sign up in advance, that we just offer them throughout the day so people can just drop in whenever they want to. We do about 50 of those a week. Again, we have senior, we have total beginners, high level, advanced level. So pretty much is what we're trying to do is touch from absolute beginner to advanced high level players, and then also any age from 4 up until senior level. One of our most popular programs is called our 30 for 30 program, and it's for adults, beginners. They can, for $30, they can come out and come to 30 days of any of our beginner adult clinics, and we offer those 6 days a week. So we get a lot of people that come out multiple times in the month. That really makes it a very reasonable way for them to come out and get introduced to the sport of tennis and see if it's something they're interested in, and then they can progress from there. So that's pretty much a overview of our programs. Any questions?
Great. No, thank you for the presentation and the rundown. I've been out there a few times, and it's just a gorgeous facility, absolutely, especially when it's busy. We have questions? Yes, Commissioner?
No, I just want to say, Commissioner Burgos, Ward 6, actually, I played out there in 2010 and for several years. Like you said, Commissioner, our chair said that it's a beautiful facility and a great job what you've done with it, Jeff, so thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I think we're good. Thank you so much. Moving on to agenda item number 10, we have...
I still had one more, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I went alphabetically and I couldn't switch anything. Sorry, Pat O'Mara, Deputy Director. So one last center tennis over at Lorenzi Park. The operator is VTM Lorenzi. Sorry, there's a typo on your PowerPoint there. Racket Club. They've been doing that operation since August of 2009. They are, that site, as we have mentioned, is receiving 3 additional courts and a new clubhouse this next couple of years. And so we're excited about that increase that they'll be able to utilize. The operator themselves don't do private lessons, but their public instructors do often kind of convert that, and then they just do something individually. They will do about 19 or 20 tournaments every year. They do about 20 classes. Those are our group lessons every week, and they do one primary league that just keeps going. So that's Lorenzi Tennis. I'm sorry, Chair. So.
I would like to point out that, I used to teach writing and editing at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, so I'll definitely mark off 2 points for that.
No problem, well-deserved.
Okay, no, my pleasure. It was a great report. Thank you very much. That's perfectly fine. Agenda item number 10 is a discussion for possible action regarding possible topics for the 2025 Parks and Recreation Advisory Commission calendar of presentations and meeting schedule or awards, and I assume that you're going to lead us on that.
Yes, so this item is for us to talk about a little bit about some of the education pieces that you may want us to bring to you next calendar year. So we do have some conversation coming up in November. I believe that'll be some information about our capital improvement projects that was swapped out in September for the Southern Nevada Public Lands Management Act information. So we did switch those two, but as I like to do, we want to bring some educational pieces to this meeting and not just give you updates. So this is an opportunity for you to share with us what you would like to see for next year. We'll work with our partners, with our staff to get a few things lined up, and then we'll try and put those into the calendar that we'll bring back to you, when we present the 2025 calendar in November.
Chair Becker, this is Commissioner Sherman. I was wondering if I could address that.
Yes, absolutely. Go ahead.
I was wondering if we could have a presentation on the new technology center, the Becker Technology Center. And I was also wondering if we could have a presentation on the classes for seniors, as separate presentations, the ones for seniors, the ones for adults, the ones for youth.
So this is Pat O'Mara, Deputy Director, so if I could get a little bit of clarification on that second one, is that classes from the Becker Tech Center, or just in general, some of the classes that we run throughout the city?
Yeah, two separate. So that I think the Becker Technology Center is probably very unique in what it's doing and would be deserving of a presentation. And then also all the classes that we offer at the different centers as a separate presentation.
Go ahead.
I do have 3 recommendations in the future, and I do want to thank bringing forth the 2050 plan, because I think that's important advice that allows us to complete our mission or fulfill our mission. But one of them would be, where do we stand with certification? I think it's called CAPRA certification. That is in the 2050 plan, and I think that's something that is of interest of everyone. I think the concept of increasing park acreage to 7 acres per 1,000 residents. Is that a big, hairy, audacious goal? Is that obtainable? So where do we stand there? I think that's another topic of interest. And I think basically the third topic is that 85% of the dwelling units are within a short walk of a park. I mean, where do we stand there? Is that another big, hairy, audacious goal? But those type of guiding principles, I think, can help us do our job. Thank you.
So, Commissioners, this is Chair Becker. Commissioners, what I'd like to recommend is that you all take pause, and if you have ideas that surface in the next month prior to the next meeting, maybe, we could go ahead and have those forwarded to the Deputy Director, and also I'd like to be included on that as a CC. And one of the things that I'd like to see is, in addition to more...
Chairman, sorry, Jim Lowe, City Attorney's Office. I do appreciate the fact that you'd like to be included as a CC. We've got to be careful, because if we as a group start communicating back and forth about things off agenda and outside of this commission, then someone might be able to complain about the open meeting law. So completely understand, if you get a CC and then you respond back and then you add someone else, you end up with a quorum, we could have an issue. So just
So, Council, just for my own clarification, though, it's okay if they CC the chair, but don't CC everybody.
Yeah, all I'm suggesting is that if we're going to CC everybody,
No.
that would be kind of an issue, because we all like to respond when we see things that come through our email. And then, if we get quite a few responses, then all of a sudden somebody gets to say, hey, what's going on behind the scenes? So,
No, we're not
okay, I
appreciate the
I hear
clarification.
it, and I usually
Just so
perk
you
up,
know,
and it wakes me
it's-
up.
We're not suggesting that we're going to do a group email. We're not doing that. If you send it, it's just a courtesy to me. It's not for me to engage. It's just so I know what's going on. And Ashley needs to be included as staff, but that's not for necessarily us to engage. And that's only we're talking about one person, one
Okay,
commissioner
perfect. Thank you very much,
sending
Chairman.
their items in. And that's the clarification I'd like to do. Kind of like what a lot of you have done before, I think is working, and it's well within our statute. So thank you. And thank you, Council, for bringing that up. I think it's an important clarification. Speaking of which, that's one of the things I'd like to see on the agenda item next in 2025, on occasion, not all the time, maybe every other commission meeting, is that we address some of the processes and procedures that are in place for commissioners to become more engaged, and or just policy like we've had. I've seen emails where a commissioner might be asking, I've been talking to a council member, and we're going to actually hear about that today, talking to a council member about adding a name to a particular part of a park. That they say that nobody knows how to do that, even though I know that the staff has a response to that. I think including those things, or maybe how many meetings we can miss before it starts to be problematic for us being on the commission, just with our own self-assessment, let alone the bylaws that we have in place. Those kind of things, I'd love to see that as part of our 2025 goals.
Sure.
And then more engagement. I love anything that we're engaging on, which I'll be talking about too. Does anybody else have any questions or comments? Okay, great, thank you.
I have done this in the past where, when we're having a discussion about something in particular, we've done a field trip. It would be a non-working meeting. It would still be agendized because we'd have a quorum, but it would be no action would be taken, kind of an agenda. So if that is something that you're interested in, the Becker Tech Center may be a perfect example of where that would work. But again, it would be agendized as there's no action, there's a possible quorum kind of situation. It would be an official meeting, but it would just not be a working meeting where, that would be the only thing, would be the orientation to the facility. And so,
if I may, Deputy Director, kind of like when we visited the tree nursery, kind of like when we did the tree planting for former chair, things like that nature. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. Great. Well, thank you for bringing this to this attention. I see that you got at least a few ideas today, and then maybe you'll see some more.
Thank you.
Moving on to agenda item number 11, which is a report by commission members regarding park issues and events within their respective council wards and at large, all wards. Hey, I have one item I'm going to take first, and then I do know Commissioner Vokus has an item he's going to bring up, and then I'll open it up to everybody else. And then I need to come back at the end and just have a couple extra things that I need to add on, so I'm doing my due diligence for Ward 2. What I wanted to point out today is earlier this summer, I had this amazing opportunity to join Commissioner Robinson and Commissioner Vokus and Administrative Secretary Ashley Foster. And she did this amazing driving around town. She's really good, except for the golf ball incident. We almost had a golf ball incident, but she avoided the golf ball, so I want to give her props for that. To visit various recreation centers participating in the annual Camp Kindness Challenge. And so all these recreation centers decorated their public areas, considering two themes. One was summer camp values, and then themes rocking through the ages. So I can't underscore how much effort the staff like our staff and participants put into their decorations. So first place, and you see these pins that you see up on your screen right now, these bowling pins are decorated. This is sort of like the props that they get if they win. Okay, so that's what kind of makes it really cool. All right, just to give you an idea, I mean, some of these were super elaborate. So next time you have an opportunity, get out to a recreation center during this time period, and you'll be like dazzled. So first place actually went to Veterans Memorial Community Center, and they had this big Back to the Future theme, which was really cool. They even had a working De Laurentian, I mean, it wasn't a real one, it was made out of cardboard. Right inside their center, it was like amazing. Second place, we went to the Doolittle Community Center, and they had this Prince of Bel Air theme with all these video monitors. You know, it was like, it was like gym, and we got our little hip hop going on, right? It was pretty exciting. And then lastly, third place went to Mirabella Community Center with its time travel theme. And some of these themes were just like so interactive and engaging that we were just like blown away. We had no idea this is what we were going to see, and it was extremely difficult to judge. And you can see some of how elaborate some of these things are on your screen right now. It's just amazing. So again, I'd encourage you all to get out and see your centers, especially during the summer when these events are when this kind of challenge is going on. I think it'll really help you put things into perspective, how important it is, and how the kids respond to these different centers. So thank you for that. Okay. And with that, Commissioner Vokus, if you'd like to, I know you have something to share today.
I do have something to present, and it's going to result in a recommendation, but I do have feedback from patrons from Wards 1, 2, and Wards 4, and that is regarding a park that currently is having a refresh. That is Police Memorial Park. There is a request from pickleball players predominantly to name an amenity at the Police Memorial Park after one of the pioneers in pickleball 10 years ago. This individual was responsible for bringing pickleball to that venue. Now they're adding 4 more courts. So it's my recommendation to begin the process of naming the pickleball courts at Police Memorial Park after John Donovan Sloan, who is basically a pioneer in pickleball and now is retired.
Seconded. This is Stitt, Ward 4.
Great. I don't know that we necessarily need to have an action. There's a process in place. If I could just explain, this is Chair Becker. There's a process in place where the staff will have to take this out to the community. They're going to have to get some additional feedback. And then from there, what staff will likely do is that they will give us a heads up when it actually becomes an action item so we can see what the community feedback will be. And once we know what the community feedback is, we can come in with a knowledge already set, and then we can have any discussion that needs to happen, and then we can actually vote at that particular time. So before we make this an agenda item, I'd advise, or if I'm allowed to do this, that staff go ahead and move forward with the process. Is that correct, Deputy Director?
Chair Becker, can I also add to that?
Yeah, Commissioner, go ahead.
I want to say that this really needs to go through the city councilman's office in that ward, and also there needs to be some communication between the police as well as the councilman before it would even become an agenda item for us. So thank you, Chair Becker, for clarifying all that.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner. That's also an excellent point. I believe the city council member is already well aware of this and actually asked that the commissioner present that information today. Okay. Deputy Director, did you just
Yeah, no, that's correct. We have discussed the possibility with the council member, and she would like us to follow the appropriate procedure of having public input, and then we will bring that public input, similar to what we did with the dog park in the spring, to this body, and then this body would make a recommendation that would then go back to the city council for an official vote.
Yeah.
Stitt, Ward 4, do you need any more comments as to who John Sloan is or what he has done as far as the pickleball world in Las Vegas in the last 10 years? Or is there any discussion on that, or what do you need?
I think that'll, this is Chair Becker, just my impression would be is that at this time I think we're okay. I think that should come in with the public comment. And then with any luck, we'll be briefed prior to the action item, so we'll actually have that background right in front of us, that we've read it, and can consider that fully before we move forward. Yeah. Great.
Chair Becker, this is Commissioner Sherman again.
Yes.
I was just going to ask, was this man a part of the police association, any of the police force?
Any commissioners with knowledge of that? No, we do not know that, Commissioner Sherman, at this time.
Oh, okay. I might just make a recommendation that one of the other pickleball courts be looked at. There are 2 at Centennial Hills, 4 at Aloha Shores Park, Bill Breyer Park, Justice Myron Levitt, and J.C. Community Park, and 7 at Durango Hills Park. just so that we don't step on the toes of any of our police officers.
Noted. Commissioners, does anybody else have a report for their specific wards?
This is Commissioner Burgos, Ward 6. First, I wanted to thank the city, Director Patrick, and also Steve, for, as well as Councilwoman Brunei, for the 9/11, the remembrance ceremony that was at Floyd Lamb Park, as well as cleaning up of the community garden out there. I mean, it was amazing. We had over 250 people show up, and a large majority of that was our youth of Las Vegas. There was Boy Scouts, several church youth groups. There was also some college youth volunteers. It was an amazing ceremony, but also everybody got their hands dirty and really cleaned up that park area. So it was just really nice to see. So kudos to everybody involved in that program. Also, tonight at 10:05 p.m. at the Las Vegas Healing Gardens, which is at 1015 South Casino Center, there'll be the reading of the names of each victim. Tonight, that'll also be read, as well as a candle lit in their honor. This event will also be live streamed on Channel 2. And also, one last thing, National Night Out is October 8th, which is next week. If you just look at any of your parks or nearby police command centers, they'll be hosting an event. It's a great way to get out, enjoy the community, so I encourage everybody to participate.
Any other commissioners with reports? Otherwise, I'll just wrap up with mine. I'm going to put on my
Oh,
word.
can I just say something real quick,
Commissioner Sherman, absolutely.
Chair Becker, I just want to say that Lorenzi Park on Saturday is having their Community Fun Day. And then I also just want to say that close to Police Memorial Park, there's a new pickleball facility in the works at Wayne Bunker Park, which is very, very close to Police Memorial Park. And because it's a new 25-court pickleball facility, something named after the founder of pickleball in Las Vegas, that might be a really appropriate place to look at. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Sherman. Great. Now I'm going to put on my Ward 2 hat and just mention that Councilwoman Victoria Seaman will have a breakfast buzz and a Ward 2 biz from 9 to 10 a.m. on October 5th at Veterans Memorial Center. Breakfast will be served for attendees who RSVP to Ward 2. That's Ward 2 at lasvegasnevada.gov. And Councilwoman Victoria Seaman, on the same day, will have a BARC Oktoberfest from 9 a.m. to noon on October 5th at Veterans Memorial Center, Community Center. It's open to all ages, 2 legs or 4 legs, although we do ask those with 4 legs bring a leash. Item number, the next one I have is Councilwoman Victoria Seaman is going to be doing a trunk or treat at 6 p.m. on October 11th at Bruce Trenk Park. That's 8851 Vegas Drive. That's a free trunk or treating for the kids, and I'm sure that deputy marshals will be out there. It's fun for the whole family if you want to get out and have some fun. And last but not least, the Las Vegas Book Festival is going to be held from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. on October 19th at the historic 5th Street School. There'll be more than 100 authors there on site. I'm going to have a booth there if you want to come by and say hi. I'll be signing some books and is showing off some of my daughter's artwork on display. So I was there last year. It was very amazing. You have no idea how big this actually gets. And there's some pretty big authors that actually show up. A lot of different panels and events that you can go peruse. So thank you so much. And hey, Commissioners, I just want to commend you all today for your patience and professionalism during today's meeting. It's great to be back and see you all. Thank you. And with that, we can move to agenda item number 13, which is adjournment. This meeting's adjourned. 12? Oh, yes. How did I miss that? I'm trying to be over efficient. Okay, agenda item number 12, which is citizens' participation, public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters within the jurisdiction of the commission. No subject may be acted upon by the commission unless the subject is on the agenda and is scheduled for action. And if you wish to be heard, come forward to give your name and for the record. The amount of discussion of any single subject as well as the amount of time of any single speaker is allowed may be limited. And I see no one here for public comment today. So with that, moving to agenda item number 13, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you. I just cut him out. How'd that happen? Good to see you.